All right, y'all. So I got my book, Mad, M-A-D. It's getting ready. It's still publishing. It's almost ready. I'll keep you guys up to date. This book that I just wrote is called Mad. And the MAD stands for, it's M-A-D, stands for Mommy and Daddy Unresolved Issues. That's the name of it. Mad Unresolved Issues. And it centers around healing from childhood traumas, specifically mommy and daddy issues, unresolved issues. So this book is called Mad, and it's, I'm practically finished writing it. It's getting published as we speak. I really love it, but I want to just put up this quick video real quick and just kind of like touch on something, a chapter that I put a lot of time into a particular chapter. And in this chapter, I'm talking about healing, like how to heal yourself. And in this chapter, I said that, you can't rely on others for healing. And relationship hopping does not heal you. I know it's a very common thing for when you go through a bad relationship. A lot of people go in, they just move into other relationships, right? They're kind of like just constantly going through relationships. I know people personally who are like that, like they can't be by themselves. And then if they don't go into relationships, they're always in some kind of companionship where it's kind of like, okay, they might not be in a relationship, but they're in a friends with benefit type ship, or they're just constantly around. They got to be in company, right? So now and that's just another way. It's just a coping mechanism, but it's an unhealthy coping mechanism because you're not allowing yourself to heal. And I talk about that in this book, Mad, that in order to heal, healing is a go it alone process. You can't heal with nobody else. And having the reason why a lot of people jump into relationships is to distract themselves from the pain and facing the actual agony of the internal pain. A lot of people don't want to feel that. And this is why they distract themselves by going into these relationships. They'll distract themselves from the actual pain, or they will use the other person, whatever energy they can get from the other person that's going to, again, comes back to distracting them from their pain. And they use that, and these are unhealthy coping mechanisms because you're never facing the unresolved issue. So I talked about that in my book. So again, one of the practical steps I say that in order to heal from whatever it is, it doesn't have to be relationships, it could be any kind of trauma. In order to healing, I wrote about this in my book. I said, look, therapy is an excellent tool, a method, but that's all it is. It's a tool, it's a method. It's not an end all be all. You won't fix yourself by just doing therapy. But I advocate therapy. I'm for therapy, but I want you to understand that the therapist can't heal you. They can point you in the right direction, but the healing process ultimately comes down to you, right? You have to use the therapist, and in conjunction with other things. Some of those other things will be making sure you have a well-balanced and healthy diet, because a healthy body supports a healthy mind, vice versa. An unhealthy body supports an unhealthy mind. So you have to heal, you have to make sure you're putting the right things in your body, right? Make sure you have a healthy, just a well-balanced diet. To heal, you have to make sure you have a balanced exercise routine, right? You have to stay fit, you have to stay in shape, you have to exercise. One of the things that I like to do is I like to journal, right? I don't necessarily journal in the traditional sense where I have a journal, I write every day, but I write books, right? I've published, this is my 8th book that I'm publishing. So I've written several books, and for me, that is a form of journaling. It's therapeutic. It's putting my thoughts out on paper. It's constructive. So writing, journaling, these are things you can do as well. Another practical step that you could take is incorporate some form of transcendental meditation, right? Where transcendental just simply means you go into the spirit realm, right? You leave the earthly realm and you go into the spirit realm within yourself in terms of meditation. So meditation is also a practical step that you can use. So you couple that with eating healthy, exercise, doing some therapy, because you might need help figuring some stuff out, meditation. What I also suggest is that, you know, you set little goals. One of my little goals, you can figure out what's good for you. Something I do is I try to read I am reading one book a month. That's another healthy goal, right? You read, and you read constructively, right? For me, I like self-help books. I like books on psychology, physics. These are things I like to read, right? You figure out what works for you, but make sure it's constructive. You're not feeding yourself negative or anything that's going to reinforce whatever your trauma is. You want stuff that's going to help you open up and release, right? So again, all these things that I'm saying, does you notice what all of them have in common is that they involve only you, right? You might want to pick up a certain practice, right? If you like playing music, if you ever had it in your mind that you want to play a musical instrument, pick up the practice of incorporating music into your routine, right? Play a piano, learn to play the guitar, right? But notice all these things I'm telling you in terms of practical steps, they don't include another person. These are all things you're doing by yourself. These are autonomous. Like, you're not including anyone else. And these are things that you could do that's healthy, that doesn't require another person. So you're healing during all of this, right? You're exercising, you're eating healthy, you're learning to play a musical instrument, you're drawing, or you're taking up a culinary class, cooking, whatever. So you're doing all these things, and in the process, before you know it, 6 months go by, a year go by, and you've healed. Right? Now, healing is a lifetime process. We never fully heal. I'm just going to be honest with you. Every human being, no matter how great and wonderful we look on the outside, we're all carrying some remnant of some kind of trauma, right? All of us, without exception. There's something buried deep within the sub layers of every human being. And that's healthy. Why is it healthy? Because you always need a little bit of trauma, something to humble you, to keep you grounded, to make you remember where you came from. Look how much I've accomplished, look how far I've come. It's always good to have a little tiny iota of that trauma there to keep you grounded, because if not, most people tend to get big-headed. We arrogance and hubris and all these things can take over. So you don't want to go from one extreme to the next. So a little bit of humility is always good. But the point is, so you got years or months or whatever time's gone by, and you'll start to see how you'll know when you're healed is you'll see it in your reality. You'll see how your world just changes. You'll see how your outer world begins to change, because what happens is your outer world is only a reflection of your inner state. So once you start healing, your outer world has to follow suit. It's called concomitant. The word is concomitant. It simply means it's accompanying. It's an accompanying factor. You start to stabilize on the inside, heal, rearrange, reconfigure your inner state. Then your outward state is concomitant to your inner state. It has to follow suit, and you'll see healthier things in your outer world. These are ways to know. Another way to identify your healing and see where you are in terms of on the healing spectrum is also pay very close attention to this. Somebody asked me recently, I'll give you a real quick question. Somebody asked me, one of my buddies, he's a lawyer. We were just talking about, sitting around talking about life. He asked me, what am I looking for in a woman now, right? Because of all the experiences I've had, bad relationships, divorces, everything that I've been through. He's like, what do you, and I answered him with very measured way. And this to me was evidence of my own healing, my own growth. And I remember I said to him, and this was what, Thursday of this week or Wednesday of this week, and I said to him, that's one, I'm not looking for anything, and two, that's not the right question. He was like, what do you mean? I said, you got to rephrase that. The question is not what I'm looking for, it's what I'm attracting. And I could see his eyes, the pupils in his eyes kind of widened just a tad bit. His eyes popped widen a little bit. And I'll say it again, this is very important. This is a sign of growth. I said, that's not the right question. One, I'm not looking for anything, and two, that's not the right question. The rephrasing of that same question should be, what am I attracting right now? Not what I'm looking for right now. What am I attracting right now? And I say that to say, when you fix yourself on the inside And when you'll know when you're where you are on the healing spectrum of healing. You'll know how far, how wide, distance. You'll know where you are, right? 1%, 2%, 3%, 10%, 100%, 50%. You'll know where you are by the things you're attracting, because you're going to start realizing like things are going to start coming to you. You're not going to be looking for anything anymore. You're not going to be out there chasing. You're not going to be as anxious. You're not going to be in that so-called rat race. You're going to realize how things just start coming to you. Opportunities. You know, I'm in business, and I'll be honest with you. I just got, like, from my office, they just gave me like MVP, most valuable player, for the month of May last month. It was 2 days ago. You know, they put an email out, MVP to me. You know, I raised the most money, opened the most accounts, the biggest producer for that month. And you're talking about a boardroom, you know, on Wall Street. You know, you got 50, 60 guys, brokers, because I'm a stockbroker, right? So it's a very competitive field. And I'm not saying that to brag or boast, because that means absolutely nothing to me. I even tell them, like, yeah, don't do that, because now you're gonna make everybody hate me. I don't want, you know, I don't like spotlights. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a spotlight dude. You know what I'm saying? I'm more under the radar, silent. I'm a silent killer type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Because the minute you put yourself up there in the spotlight, you become a target for hate, animosity, jealousy, envy. All that stuff is gonna come after you. So if you smart, you know how to move, make your money, get what you're getting, and stay under the radar. Right? Stay out the spotlight. Don't be chasing for clout. Don't be so clout hungry, right? Because there's stuff that comes with that clout that you're not going to want, and it can be detrimental to your health, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially, and otherwise. So, but I say that to say, just to make a point, that I'm seeing in my own reality, I'm seeing the things I'm attracting. So once you start healing, your photoreceptors. The photoreceptors in your brain, because you have photoreceptors in your brain, you're going to start seeing things clearer. You're going to have a lot of what's called mental clarity, right? You're going to have acumen, psychological acumen, just means adroitness, skillfulness. You're going to start seeing things differently and this will let you know where you are on your healing process. And like I said, you're going to bring things are going to start, like, I notice, like, you know, when I'm out sometimes, like, dogs and cats and all these animals come to, you know what I'm saying? Like I went to my boy's house, and his dog barks at everybody. He's mean. You know what I'm saying? But the dog was cool with me, and he was surprised, because the dog is is an aggressive dog. But the point I'm making is, when you're healing, your aura is going to change. Your Taurus field. We all have a Taurus field. It's going to change, and that energy is going to become more, magnetic, and you're going to draw, things to yourself. And the things you're going to draw to yourself are the things that's going to be in sync with that energy that you're now radiating, that you're emanating, that you're now walking in. You're walking in that energy, right? It's called your Taurus field. And your Taurus field extends about a few inches out from your body, several feet, depending on the strength of the frequency of it. So once you start to heal, your Taurus field is going to vibrate at a higher rate. It's called resonant frequency. You're going to have a higher resonant frequency. It's going to extend out, feet from your body, feet, inches, feet, depending on the strength, and it's going to affect and draw other energies or entities that are in sync with your field to you. So this way, you ain't money. If you're going to attract money to yourself. And if you don't attract, when I say attract money, I don't mean like the actual currency itself, but you'll attract the opportunities that's going to lead to the money. You're going to attract the right people. You're going to attract the right circle. I'm telling you, I be walking on the street, and mad people be just talking, like strangers be just talking to me. It's like almost every day. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say something to me that, and I noticed it once I started doing my healing, right? Because I'm able to say, okay, a year ago, 2 years ago, that wasn't happening. But I see the difference now. Like, people are way more, this is just strangers, random strangers, just, you know what I'm saying? The energy. So, I notice it with children, with kids, same thing. They're just very attracted, like the energy. They just, so I'm like, because children have innocent energy. You know what I'm saying? They have that innocent energy. So once you start, that means if you're attracting that kind of energy, that means you're healing. Your energy is becoming pure. You see what I'm saying? It's called pristine, because that's what you are. You're pure, pristine light in essence. That's what your essence is, pristine light. So it's been corrupted, right? It's like your files have been corrupted by life's experiences. But once you start to reboot, to clean and cleanse and heal, you become pristine. And that energy is going to attract like attracts like. You dig? So you're going to attract the right person. Like, don't change who you are. You're going to be tempted to change who you are. We all have. We all are, because we want to fit in. I've done it multiple times, and I've learned never do that. Don't change who you are. Stay exactly who you are. Stay true to yourself. 100% true to yourself. Walk in your power. Walk in your masculinity. And the right people will adjust to your life. The right people will be attracted and be adjusted to your life. And you won't have to change nothing. Now, when I say don't change anything, I want to be clear here. I'm not talking about if you smoke cigarettes and smoke weed and drink liquor and hang around all day. You know what I mean, right? If you have like habits that are low frequency, low vibratory rates, and these things are keeping you stagnant and they're not progressing you, and you're attracting a lot of chaos into your life, then you do need to change. But what I'm talking about, don't change, is if you're walking in your truth, if you're walking in light, if you're walking on principles, right, on sound, solid principles, and you know these are your values, don't change them. Don't compromise who you are at your core, your values, so that others can accept you, so that others can like you, so that others can fit into your world. Because what's going to happen is eventually everything is going to, nature has a way of restoring order, and nature and the universe is going to pull things apart. So the same people that you compromise yourself to let in, they're going to naturally have to let go. They're going to naturally have to go. Because your true self is always going to be at odds with them. Even though you burying who you are and you're twisting and turning to fit them, right? Your true self is always at odds with their true selves. And that ultimately is going to create, like I said, the dichotomy, and those particles are going to push you guys further apart, and eventually those relationships are going to die out anyway. So don't change who you are. And like I said, the healing process, I wrote about all this stuff in my book, Mad. The healing process is a process that has to be done in an isolated state, meaning you can't be in company. You can't be really looking for people to heal you. You can't look for people to help you. You have to go through the healing process by yourself. It's a soldier's, you have to take on a soldier's mentality, a warrior's mentality. You have to be disciplined. You have to be dangerous, and you have to be determined. Right? You have to be disciplined, dangerous, and determined. And you have to believe that you're deserving of better, right? You have to accept, and you have to allow, right? You have to allow yourself to accept. You have to accept, and you have to feel that you're deserving of better, right? And anybody or anything that's not going to feed and pour into that, you have to eliminate out of your life. Because the goal is you want to surround, because they said you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So if you have to mark out, know exactly what kind of man, woman, whatever you want to be, and anything that does not pour into that, you have to cut that out. You have to eliminate it. All right? So you got to have a warrior's mentality. Till next time, peace.